What kind of musical instrument can you use for fishing? The castanet. Men and fish are alike. They both get into trouble when their mouths are open. Did you know that the swiftest fish in the ocean is the sailfish? Mother to daughter advice. Cook a man a fish and you feed him for a day. But teach a man to fish and you get rid of him for the whole weekend. The mola mola fish, or ocean sunfish. They're the world's largest bony fish, weighing up to 5,000 pounds. And since they have very little girth, that just makes them these absolutely giant fucking dinner plates that God must have accidentally dropped while washing dishes one day and shrugged his shoulders at. Every pound of that is a wasted pound, and every foot of it, 10 foot by 14 foot, is wasted space. They are so completely useless that scientists even debate how they move. What is the difference between a fish and a piano? You can't tune a fish. They have very little control other than some minor wiggling. Some say that they could push water in and out of their mouths for direction. But how? They could use their back fin, except guess what? It doesn't fucking grow. It just continuously folds in on itself, so the freaking cells are being made. This piece of floating garbage just doesn't put them where they need to fucking go. The more sardines that are placed in a can, the greater the profit is, as sardine oil costs more than the sardines. The most poisonous fish in the world is the stonefish. So they don't have swim bladders. You know, the one thing that every fish has to make sure it doesn't just sink to the bottom of the ocean when they stop moving and can stay on the right side up. This creature, that can barely move to begin with, can never stop its continuous tour of idiocy across the ocean, or it'll fucking sink. Oh, except when they get stuck on top of the water, which happens frequently, because without the whole swim bladder thing, if the ocean pushes over the thinnest but largest, most toppable fish on the planet, well then shit out of luck. There's no creature on this earth that needs a swim bladder more than this spit in the face of nature. Oh, but, and yet, do you really believe your husband when he tells you he's going fishing every weekend? Asked Vicky's best friend Myra. Why shouldn't I, Myra? Responds Vicky. Well, maybe he's having an affair, comments Myra. No way, laughs Vicky. He never comes home with any fish. Some scientists have speculated that when they do that, they are absorbing the energy of the sun because no one fucking knows how they managed to get any real energy to begin with. So they need the sun, I guess. Oh, but good news, when they end up stuck like that, it gives birds a chance to land on their goddamn island of a body and eat the bugs and parasites out of its skin because it's basically a slowly migrating cesspool. Nothing makes a fish bigger than almost being caught. Bob's walking down the street when he sees a kid sitting on his front porch jigging in a bucket. As he reaches the kid, Bob stops for a better look. The bucket's empty. He asks the kid, "What are you fishing for, son?" The kid looks up and says with a shrug, "Suckers mainly." Bob smiles and asks, "Have you caught any yet?" "Yup," the kid replies, "You're the 10th. So you might be thinking, if they're so huge, they must at least be decent predators. No. The most dangerous thing about them is, as you may have guessed, their stupidity. They have caused the death of one person before because it jumped onto a boat on a human. And in 2005, it decided to relive its mighty glory days and do it again. This time, landing on a 4-year-old boy. Luckily, Bryson, the boy, sustained no injuries. Way to go, fish. Great job. I spent most of my money on fishing. The rest I wasted. 2 men from warmer climates were in Minnesota on business and wanted to try ice fishing. They stopped at a bait shop near a frozen lake and went to get some supplies. "We need an ice pick," said the first man. The clerk handed them their gear and wished them happy fishing. A couple of hours later, the second man came back and said, "We need another ice pick." The clerk sold him the pick and the man wandered off. An hour later, both men went into the shop again. They stormed up to the counter and said, "Ice fishing's terrible. We want our money back." The clerk looked confused and asked them, "Are you not having any luck?" Looking furious, the first man replied, "Of course we're not. We don't even have the stupid boat in the water yet." They mostly only eat jellyfish because, of course they do. They could only eat something that has no brain to begin with and the possibility of just drifting into their mouths, I guess. Everything they do eat has almost zero nutritional value, and because it's so stupidly fucking big, it has to eat a ton of the almost no nutritional value stuff just to stay alive. Dumb. See the ridiculous open mouths that they have? Oh no, what could have happened? How could this be? Don't let the expression fool you. They just don't have the goddamn ability to close their mouths because their teeth are fused together. And you know what? It's good that it floats around with such a stupid, clueless expression on its face, because it is, in fact, clueless as fuck. Fish use a variety of low-pitched sounds to convey messages to each other. They moan, grunt, croak, boom. They do sometimes get eaten though, but hardly. No animal truly sees them as a food source, but instead will usually just maim the fuck out of them for kicks. Seals have been seen playing with their fins like frisbees, which is probably the most useful thing to have ever come from this pathetic shit of an animal. Wow, you raised some good points here. This fish truly is proof that God has abandoned us. Yes, thank you. But if they're so bad at literally everything, why haven't they gone extinct? Great question. Hiss, whistle, creak, shriek. Because this thing is so worthless that it doesn't even realize it should just not exist. It is so unaware of literally fucking everything that it doesn't realize that it's doing maybe the worst fucking job of being a fish, or debatably, the worst job of being a cluster of cells than any other cluster of cells. So, what does it do? It lays the most eggs out of everything. Fish do not have vocal cords. They make use of other body parts to create those noises, such as vibrating muscles against their swim bladder. Besides some bugs, there's some ants and some stuff that'll lay more, but this fish will lay 300 million eggs at one time. 300 million! It survives because it would be statistically improbable, dare I say impossible, that there wouldn't be at least one of those 300 million, oh, that is each time they lay the eggs too, left surviving at the end of the day. And this concludes why I hate the fuck out of this complete failure of evolution, the ocean sunfish. If I ever see one, I will throw rocks at it. Fish. Fish.